This podcast may contain paid advertisements, but more on that later. Welcome to the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, your go-to resource for unraveling the intricacies of business and leadership, honing in on the essence of bootstrapping a business from scratch. Whether you're a seasoned entrepreneur, a dedicated bootstrapper, or a leader navigating life's various challenges, this podcast is crafted just for you. I'm Isaiah O'Connor, your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, and my mission is to guide you towards personal and professional growth. Let's embark on this journey together. Now, with new episodes dropping weekly, I want to welcome you to the Remastered series, your chance to catch up on the journey so far. Here's one from the archives I think you'll enjoy. Today I'm going to be expanding on something I mentioned in one of my previous podcasts, the one where I talked about passion and doing a little bit of a deconstruction on what that meant. In that episode, I had hinted at some research that showed that talent was not necessarily something you were born with, but something you could develop over time. Now, I think that, of course, we're all born with some natural likes and dislikes and affinities for some things. For example, my brother loves cars. I think he got his license at 16. He got a kit car right away off the bat to build his own car. At 18, he got a hold of a Mitsubishi 3000 GT VR4 twin turbo. And that's about all I know about that, but a super fancy race car at 18. Now, as for myself, I just didn't bother to even get my license at all until I was 22 years old. I was more into computers, science, and history, and stuff like that. Big nerd. And that was my focus. And so I spent all my time and money on computers and nerdy things. And amongst other things. Now, obviously, driving is something that anyone can do. You don't necessarily have to have talent for it. But people are interested and get better at it, and some can be professional. It's a trained ability. Now, there are other factors other than likes and dislikes, such as physical ability. Of course, a person who is taller might be better at basketball than a person who isn't. A person with a nice voice and is not tone deaf could become a great musical artist. So there are some physical limitations. But is physical ability all there is? No, I really don't think so, and I've never, ever thought that in my life. Because even if you're not born with some amazing, innate, natural ability, then that doesn't mean you're talentless. And definitely doesn't mean that you're consigned to a life of working a 9-to-5 job for somebody else. It definitely does not mean that either. Now, the biggest thing I think is the choices we make in life. And that holds more weight than any natural ability. A quick example is Michael Phelps. He's really tall, his limbs are really long, and he's a great swimmer. Now, he's got some physical advantages to his body build, etc. But then he trains like crazy and works really, really hard to become that great. He doesn't walk into Olympic Stadium with no training, jump into the pool, and win. He works really hard to do that, or he did. Another example is if you've heard of the Ylvis brothers, the people who created the song, What Does the Fox Say? Now, they're incredible vocalists and entertainers. They're comedians. And they're pretty famous, especially here in their home country of Norway. Now, the group is the two older brothers, Vegard and Bård Ylvisåker. I'm not going to bother trying to pronounce it again. Anyway, they happen to have a younger brother named Bjarte, who is less well known. He flies helicopters. for a living. That's what he does. Turns out, though, the guy actually has a decent singing voice. And he his brothers helped him make a video titled, "I Will Never Be a Star." And he talks about, or sings about, I should say, not having the ability to perform in front of an audience. And thus, he will never be a star. So just raw talent is not enough either. I mean, the dude's got some talent too. He busts out the chops singing the song. He just isn't that personality. So again, back to, if you feel like you don't have any talent or any talent worthwhile, going back to that song, he talks about the only thing he can do is spin a pencil around his thumb, and he learned it on YouTube. And that he felt like that was nothing big he could use. That wasn't a big talent. Granted, you're not going to get very far in the entertainment world by just spinning a pencil around your thumb. But back on topic, you can also have a really strong skill set. For example, you could be an incredible mathematician and great at math, but you're absolutely bored to tears with it. And you don't want to ever work in math and numbers in a professional capacity because you'll go crazy. And you would like to work in some sort of artistic field instead. Well, I believe there's hope for you, and for those that think they don't have any talent, there's hope for you too. Now, what brought up all this whole idea in my head was I came across a video about a guy named, and we'll go with a name I can't pronounce again, Laszlo Polgár, a psychologist from Poland, I do believe. And he had 3 daughters, or he has 3 daughters. Now, going into his life and his research, he thought that talent and genius was something that could be learned and not just simply something natural that you were just born with. And so he decided to do an experiment. First, he needed to find a wife, and he found a lady, and he told her that he wanted to do the science experiment with his kids, and he needed to find someone that would be willing to do this with him, and if she would marry him. And she said yes. Quite the marriage proposal. And so they got married, and they had 3 kids. Now, long story short, they decided on teaching them chess from a young age. Now, how did that go? Well, all he did was taught them how to play chess, and basically their whole life was one giant chess school, learning chess all the time. And they had fun with it. They enjoyed it. The first sister started, and she really, really liked it, and it was her idea in the first place. She's the one who found the chessboard and pulled it out and asked them how to play. Her sister saw big sister playing it, and they wanted to play, so it wasn't torture or anything. They just had fun playing. And so they played it a lot growing up, and he taught them how to do it. He brought home books on chess theory, etc., and just taught them. Now, how did it work out? Well, they all became incredible at chess. How incredible? Well, here's a few highlights for you. Susan, the oldest, became only the 3rd female grandmaster in history, winning multiple titles and multiple gold medals in multiple events and tournaments, etc. Sophia, the second born, was the underachiever of the girls. At the age of 14, she stunned the chess world by her performance in a tournament in Rome, which became known as the Sack of Rome. She won the tournament, which included several strong grandmasters with a score of 8.5 out of 9. At 14 years old, she was beating grandmasters and multiple grandmasters in a row. She was an underachiever. She did not reach nearly as much success as her other 2 sisters. And the last one was Judith. She achieved the title of grandmaster at the age of 15 years and 4 months. At the time, the youngest person on the planet to have done so, breaking the previously held record by the former world champion, Bobby Fischer. So they did a little bit okay. Just a little bit. So this, of course, begs the question. Do they have a natural talent for chess? Or did they develop this skill from all the training? From all the research I read, it was the training that did it, as well as an interest in chess, so that helped. Now, you can read more details about that on an article I found at Psychology Today. It is a beast of an article. It's 3 or 4 pages long, just to warn you. I'll toss the link in to the show notes as well. Now, what does that mean for us as entrepreneurs, as businessmen, as people who are out there working and busy guys? Well, what does it mean? It means this. If you want to start a business and you don't feel like you have a talent to do so, but you have an interest in something, do it. Go out there and work it. Work on it. Because you can develop skill and almost a talent level just by doing that. Matter of fact, a quote from Susan Polgar, however you pronounce the last name, is that she said this: "My father believes that innate talent is nothing, that success is 99% hard work," and I agree with him. And that is pretty well put in a nutshell. Now, I would definitely have to agree with that. This is incredible news for all of us who are going out there and working on our business. It also means that if we need to change or adapt or learn how to do something else within our business, because we wear many hats, we wear all the hats when we start, you have to develop a lot of different talents and a lot of different skills and become proficient at many different things that you'd never ever expect to. So it's a good thing that if you work on these, you can become proficient at them, and you might find them taking over and finding that you really like something and have a real talent for something else because you're working on it. So with all that said, I'm going to end with a quote from one of the biggest inspirations of my life, Thomas Alva Edison. He quoted several different versions of this, but he said, "Genius is 1% inspiration and 99% perspiration." So get out there, work it, hustle, and you'll be good. You'll be okay. Until next time, I've been your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor. If today's episode added value to your day, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Drop a comment and consider giving us a stellar 5-star rating on your favorite podcast platform. Whether it's Apple Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast, or more. And remember, if you leave a 5-star review on Apple Podcast, I will personally read it out in the next episode. To support the show, you can make a one-time gift by buying us a coffee at buymeacoffee.com/bootstrap, donate through PayPal at paypal.me/IOCPOD, or make a contribution on our Patreon page at patreon.com/IOCPOD. Your support keeps the episodes coming. For even more content and exclusive perks, join our Patreon community at patreon.com/IOCPod. Patrons enjoy ad-free episodes, access to our private Discord server, early content previews, and a lot more. And here's an exciting offer. Get your free trial of our $5 a month Bootstrapper Community Explorer tier. This exclusive tier grants you ad-free content, Discord server access, and early content previews. Join us and be part of the inner circle. If you're feeling more generous, those who join tiers $25 a month and up will have a chance to be a featured guest on this podcast. A massive thank you to Wintergatan for generously providing the incredible intro and outro music at no cost. We appreciate their support. Be sure to check out Wintergatan's amazing work on YouTube at youtube.com/@Wintergatan. Until next time, I'm your friendly neighborhood entrepreneur, Isaiah O'Connor, signing off. This is the O'Connor Bootstrap Podcast, brought to you by Athos Business Solutions. For our companion podcast, the Athos Business Podcast, hosted by Jason St. Clair, along with past episodes and related blogs, visit our website at athos.com. That's ATHEOZ.com or theoz.com. Goodbye for now.